Welcome. This is a brief session on introducing folks to promoting first relationships. We are going to provide some info for you and resources for you to understand promoting first relationships, our research, and our training model. And so, with no further ado, I'll introduce myself. I'm Monica Oxford. I am faculty at the University of Washington and the executive director for the Barnard Center for Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health, and excited to be here to share PFR with you.
And I'm Jennifer Reese. I'm the Director of Promoting First Relationships, and I do a lot of the training and consultation and implementation support work.
You. So, as I said, we're going to just talk about PFR and introduce you to our training model. At the end, we'll provide our emails, and you are always welcome to contact us and get more information if you would like. So, what is PFR? Just briefly, the ins and outs. It is a 10-week home visiting program that's usually about an hour a week spending time with parents. How we frame it is it's a reflective parenting program. So PFR uses reflective and strengths-based strategies to support the unique relationship between parent and child. And we're going to talk about how we do that. But it's different from a lot of programs out there in the sense that we are really supporting the parent's ability to think about and to mentalize their child's social and emotional needs, what their child might be communicating with their behavior. And we do this through some consultation strategies, which we will describe. We are supporting parents' reflective capacity because that's a big part of sensitive caregiving is the ability to think, oh, this is scary for my child. I can do X, Y, and Z to help them feel safe. And so that is a big component of our work. We also have handouts and exercises that we use to support the concepts as we are working with parents. PFR is firmly placed in attachment theory. So we work with the dyadic system of relationships between parents and children. And we know children are born with the capacity to send messages. You've probably heard it called serve and return. So a child cries, and that's a message: I'm upset, I'm uncomfortable, I'm hungry. And then the parent responds to that cry, providing comfort or food and so on. That is a serve and return relationship. It's really the core feature of human interaction and the area that we're focused on in promoting first relationship. It's that dyadic back and forth. Well, we know that not all parents are really able to either detect the cue that the child sends, or they're not necessarily able to respond in a way that meets the child's needs. Perhaps they don't quite understand what the child needs, or they may have their own trauma background or unmet needs that they have. They might have mental health issues or substance use issues. And so their responses are not as sensitive as they could be. They might be harsh or unpredictable, misattuned. All of these things are really the venue within which we do our work. And so we know from attachment theory that when children are exposed to parenting that's maybe harsh, they're going to learn to inhibit their distress and sort of hide their feelings, put them a little lower so that they don't draw negative attention. And that's what we call avoidant attachment. When children maybe receive inconsistent or unpredictable caregiving, those kids are more likely to amplify the message, really make it known that they have a need in order to attract that caregiver, attract a response. And that's what we think of as preoccupied attachment. So we know that the system can get disrupted through this dynamic pattern. And it's within that work that we are trying to support parents' ability to think about and understand their child and how they're behaving and why, and then meet those needs to the best of their ability. And so this is our model of change. And this middle piece here, the language of distress handout or reframing challenging behavior, that's one of our handouts. So this is kind of what the handouts look like. But you may have a child, or the parent may be saying that the child is withdrawn or acting out, and that is an observation of their behavior. We use video feedback. That's another unique characteristic of our intervention is We videotape parents and children playing for 10 to 15 minutes and then bring it back the next week and watch that video in order to help the parent enter the child's mind or mentalize. That's the observation. So PFR is really firmly grounded in observation, and the parents getting an opportunity to practice their own observation. So we have an observation, the child behaves a certain way. We pause the video and we reflect on the meaning. What do you think that is for the child? What is the child needing? What might they be wanting or experiencing? And this gives the parent an opportunity to explore that in a low pressure environment, right? We pause the video, it's the next week, it's not in the moment. And this pause is very, very powerful because we have space. We've given an opportunity to spend a whole hour focusing on the relationship between the parent and child. And parents report that they really love this. They really love thinking about their child in relationship to them. And then when we can kind of reflect on the meaning of behavior, we try to link that to social emotional need. And so we know that when children want attention, they might act out. So the social emotional need is to receive attention, and that is in that pink box. We know that children might act out when their world is unpredictable. Maybe grandma moved into the house and all the routines have been disrupted. And so the child starts acting out. So we reflect on that. Well, what is that need? And it might mean they have a need for predictability. But we as the provider are really just providing an opportunity for exploration and kind of flexing that mentalizing muscle. It's the parents who are figuring it out, which is great because it generalizes past this one behavior, past the circumstance, and into when they're 4 years old, or 6 years old, or 8 years old, or a teenager. And so it's a capacity that sensitive parents have, and something that we're trying to support the development of, this sort of reflective capacity. I really love this quote. This is from a reunified birth parent. And they said, and I love it because it kind of describes exactly the muscle that we're flexing over those 10 weeks. So this parent says, PFR helped me understand my child's cues and needs. And that's through that observation, right? Oh, my child's upset. They're moving away from the activity, or they're delighted. I get it now. I get him. I want to think about him in a different way. It helped me to step back, take a breath, and evaluate the situation and understand that situation. And that's that reflection piece that we're trying to build. Why is he acting this way? Those are the questions, right? Is he scared? Is he stressed? Does he need me? And so you can see this parent is going through this process that we've practiced over the last 10 weeks. And they have gained skill to reflect and pause and think about what their child needs. This is a video of a reunified birth parent. We do have permission to share this. And she shares a similar experience, a similar aha through her PFR experience. And so I just want to have you hear it in her own words.
And we talked a little bit about kind of what you're working on with him now, and how he's been doing pretty well with some of those things he was struggling with.
Yeah, he's been doing amazing.
What do you think has been kind of helped him with that? I know you've kind of worked on being consistent with responding to some of those things.
I think something that I didn't notice before, or I think I did notice it, I just wasn't doing anything about it, was giving him the attention that he needed.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways, some of his acting out was him trying to get my attention or him showing me that he was frustrated. So it's been really nice actually, because the time that we have together now, there's nothing else involved. There's no phone, there's no, outside sources. There's
distraction.
Yeah, there's nothing else. It's just me and him. And I've really seen a change in his behaviors and because I before, remember how I told you he would sit at my feet and he would cry and he'd want me to pick him up. And then I would pick him up and he would hit and scratch and pull hair. And I was so frustrated because it's like, well, do you want me to pick you up or not?
Right.
And we don't have that problem at all anymore. And I think a lot of it has to do with he was frustrated with me because he wasn't getting all of the attention that he needed.
Yeah.
I just love that video because it really demonstrates this diagram, right? She was frustrated because he was acting out. She has had time to reflect and think about and realized has her own aha, oh, he needs my attention. And then she designed the solution. So she spends quality time with him without the phone or distractions. And that's what makes PFR so magical in a way. We're not providing specific advice, you should do X or Y. Rather, we're helping the parent design their own intervention based on their insights about the child's behavior and their observation. And in this way, PFR is very culturally adaptable because we're not suggesting specific advice to do X or Y. The parent is really from their own culture and their own background formulating the plan to meet the need in the way that they see fit. So this next session or section, we're going to talk about the research for promoting first relationships. PFR has been vetted by many evidence-based lists nationally in the US. And that means that they have looked through our publications and very, very detailed, assessed the quality of our research. And so it's quite an achievement to be placed on these lists as evidence-based. The first list we're on is the Home V. That is for MCV funding. I believe every state is receiving MCV funding. So if we were added to your state's MCV menu of services, the federal government would fund to have PFR provided in your community. Another is the Title IV-E Prevention Clearinghouse for the Family First Prevention Act. That's a newer form of federal funding. They have an evidence-based list. We are now on that. So for prevention of entry into child welfare or serving child welfare involved families, the federal funds can be used to provide PFR in that context. You are welcome to contact us to get more details about that, but those are two lists that come attached to funding. We've also been vetted by the California Evidence-Based Clearinghouse and Blueprints for Youth. Neither of those have funding connected to it, but it does tell you that we have been looked at very carefully by many, many eyes. So this next slide is just a summary of our research. We have been in really diverse populations conducting our research. We are very much about doing real world research and focusing on families that are typically served in the community. So these first three boxes up here are child welfare studies, one in CPS, one in foster care, one with reunified birth parents. This last box here is PFR and child welfare by telehealth. Not all of these are completed. Some are in the field, so they're not all published. We've done 2 randomized clinical trials in tribal communities. We've also done the Moms and Babies program, and that was for a sample of women who had experienced some during pregnancy mental health issues, so PTSD, depression, or anxiety, and they were getting mental health services. So we provided PFR soon after their child was born. And then we have one in a pediatric setting in North Carolina. Of the ones that have been published, all of them across the board have improved parent-sensitive and responsive caregiving. And this is a measure, this first block here is a measure that's an observation tool, so it's not susceptible to social bias. We videotape parents and children interacting, and then it's coded by somebody who doesn't know if the parent received the treatment or the control condition. And the column here that says Cohen's D, that's the effect size. So really nice effects on parent sensitivity. We've also improved parents' reporting of their understanding of social and emotional development for children. We've improved child's behavior, so externalizing behavior, child's emotional development, their stress physiology. So we've measured cortisol and respiratory sinus arrhythmia and sleep. And in those, we've made positive impacts. We have 2 studies that have outcomes that are from official child welfare records, which are really important for the Title IV funds. So we prevent entry into foster care placement, 2.5 times less likely to enter foster care if the family receives PFR. And if the child is in PFR and it's provided to a foster family or a kin provider, their placement stability for the next 2 years is significantly more stable than the control group. So there's less turnaround, less use of respite care, and less relinquishing the child to another caregiver, which is so critical if you think about that from an attachment perspective. PFR also has moderating effects. That just means it's a question, do we do better or worse for certain populations? So just briefly, all of this research is available on our PFR website. It's in a summary document with all the publications. So you will have access to that. So you can look up and read the studies yourself. But just briefly, we do better if parents have reported that they were physically maltreated as children. We increase their sensitivity even more. We do better and increase the sensitivity of caregivers who start the program with high symptoms of depression, anxiety, and PTSD. We do better for families that are experiencing daily stressors and buffering their child's sleep. And finally, for children who've had multiple removals from their birth home, their security and externalizing behavior is kind of protected from those effects if the caregiver had PFR. So pretty nice effects. And as I said, all of this is available and we're happy to provide that to you. And I'm going to turn over to Jen to talk about the model and the training.
Thanks, Monica. Okay, so how do we get these effects? Really, what is the secret sauce that providers learn during their training to get these effects? The big thing that we spend a lot of time during training on is helping providers learn these 4 consultation strategies. One being joining. So we have techniques and joining questions that really help providers learn about the caregiver's story, what's important to the caregiver, and how that caregiver sees the child, along with the caregiver's values and priorities in parenting. We also spend a lot of time training on how to support the caregiver reflective capacity. So we watch videos and videos and videos with providers to help increase their observation skills and also work with them on how to support caregiver reflective capacity. We also train them on how to really create an open and accepting space to help caregivers explore the meaning behind their child's behaviors as well as their own to increase insight. We spend lots of training hours helping providers think about how to provide positive instructive feedback so that parents really get noticed for what they are doing already to meet their child's needs. And this boosts their confidence and their sense of competence. Finally, we use lots of handout information and exercises to share information about social and emotional development using a very collaborative approach. So again, never giving advice, like Monica said, just really helping the parent come to their own solutions when they have some information about social and emotional development and when they think about their child more deeply. We spent a lot of time just helping the provider focus on the relationship and really thinking about the unique parent and child that they are working with. So providers are invited to really enter the world of the caregiver. What is this caregiver's experience? What is the caregiver feeling and needing? And what is this unique child in front of us? What is their experience? What are they feeling and needing? And then importantly, we really help providers during the training to reflect on their own feelings. And as they work with the parent and child, to reflect on what are my feelings when I work with this family? How are my feelings and actions impacting my relationship with this caregiver and child? And what am I needing to support and nurture this relationship? Here's an example of one of our handouts. This is called Calming Myself, Calming My Child. We have about 20 handouts that we share with families over the course of the 10-week program. All of the handouts are available in over 40 languages. And this particular handout helps parents think about emotion regulation and both for themselves and for their child. So we have them think first, as parents, we need to calm ourselves in order to be able to step in and help support our child's emotions. And so this handout walks through different steps, and on the back of the handout are some other strategies that providers use to talk about this with families. And here is the timeline towards PFR certification for providers that are going on to become certified in the evidence-based model. The first step is the level 1 workshop training, which is 14 hours. This can be done in person or virtually. Next step is level 2 provider training. So over about 4 to 5 months, a provider takes a family or two and does the 10-week model with the family while receiving weekly mentoring virtually over Zoom with a PFR trainer. And we watch videos and really help build the provider's capacity to do all of those consultation strategies. Finally, or next, third is certification. So providers submit a fidelity video by the end of their level 2 training to meet certification requirements. And then 4, we offer ongoing support. So we offer monthly reflective consultation groups where providers can continue to bring their questions and reflections on the families that they work with. Here's some information about agency and provider readiness. So for the agencies should serve families with children birth to 5, have established referral sources for this age group, provide recording and playback equipment to providers, and provide reduced caseload time during training. Provider requirements, a bachelor's degree or higher is recommended, but the most important thing is just this commitment to work in a collaborative and non-expert way, and also a real desire to use this strengths-based and reflective techniques with families, which may be different than previous training experiences. Here are some providers' statements about what they learned from PFR training or what their experience was. So from a nurse home visitor, the first one, I've learned more about the relationship between this mom and baby after only 2 PFR visits than I was aware of after working with them for 9 months. And then from a social worker, a child welfare social worker, promoting first relationships is such a different way of working with families. In particular, for CPS involved families, it may be the first time that someone has ever really noticed that they are doing well and celebrated this. PFR provides us with a way to encourage and reflect on parents' interactions and to increase and build upon the strengths that they bring to their parenting. So again, just celebrating all that parents are doing for their children. And then in this next slide, we have the parents' experience. So PFR is more hands-on. It's better being observed while interacting with your child than just some class where you talk. I think this program, PFR, helped build my relationship with my child for the better. It has helped me understand him more as a child. I am glad I did this program. And finally, this program, PFR, helped me understand my child's emotions and needs, and the videos help me step outside the moment and give me a chance to see room for improvement. Here's some other information about PFR. We just wanted to make sure you know that anyone can attend the Level 1 workshop. The Level 1 workshop comes with a manual and all of the handouts in all of the languages. And so then people can take this, all the practice and information back and implement it into their practice. Also, PFR and training support is available for those involved in pediatrics. We have handouts that go along with well child visits, and even a specialized training for pediatricians and healthcare providers. The PFR program can be delivered online, in the office, or at home, and also in group settings with parents and caregivers. And here's our contact information and a QR code on our website information. The summary of research is available on our website, and we would love to hear from you. So please reach out with any questions you have. And finally, here's some other links and PFR resources. Again, you will find these on the PFR website, and we can also send you the links to these directly if you wish. Thank you for your time and spending time learning about PFR with us.
Yes, thank you.